Stichwort 3 Buchstaben. Wechselt man nun von der Betrachtung der Fassade zur Lektüre des Textes, findet sich erstaunlich Ereignisreiches. 2 Menschen begegnen sich, das uralte Spiel der Liebesakt, lyrisch verpackte Sauereien. Hurra! Ich hatte schon Angst, der und die tun das nicht. Ottos Mops schrieb spontan ein Drehbuch zu diesem Gedicht. Es beginnt damit, dass ein Marsmensch über Tinder ein Date auf der Erde
plant. Incredible. Where do you start with a film like this? I mean, they do some fantastic stuff with forced perspective, or if it's faked forced perspective, I'm not even sure. There's just such an interesting use of texture, of sound. I thought that the music underneath the narration, throughout the block of it, right in the middle, really helped just set this weird sort of vibe. It just felt really cool, somehow even relevant to the time.
I thought this was really intriguing, and they made a lot of interesting choices. Is starting at the very beginning with the way that they kind of gave background to the poem and the story with just kind of like that black screen with all of the different images and things as he's talking his way through it. I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of start off the film, and then to go from that to transition into the actual story itself. I loved the mixed media aspects of this, that it wasn't just animation and it wasn't just like claymation or something like that, that it was like a mix, and that it was using different mediums and different things to, complete this entire story. I really, really liked how they did it.
I loved this format at the beginning of the interactive slideshow. It almost had like a Wes Anderson kind of vibe to it with the title cards, and it's direct address to the audience viewer through this narrator. But this piece very much had its own style and own world. It's very singular, and I loved it. It evolved into something entirely different in the second part, and it was very inventive. The mix of cartoon and live action. It was unexpected, but had this great collage-like style, and I was always wondering what was going to happen next. So.
This one was so much fun to watch. It was so interesting. I think right from the beginning, having that storytelling aspect from the narrator, just sitting and telling you a story was really nice. And then, as it shifts into the second part of the story, with a Martian coming to Earth for a Tinder date, was just so modern, or perhaps futuristic. I just love the storyline. I love the idea of that. And obviously, like the visual aspects, the claymation with the animation, with the real life people all kind of blending together into one world was really fun to see.
Recording the prologue in black and white for a few seconds worked here. So did the pinching, swiping, and pressing. The transitions used felt like my smartphone, which I think people are really used to this delivery method. I think it's relatable at this point. I thought there was a lot of visual elements here, interesting ones like Lego cartoons, human cutouts, protest footage, and then also a man in a leather jacket who really likes to get wet. This film was oddball in the best way and super entertaining overall.
Yeah, this one's really solid. I really love the animation style in this. It was really interesting and kind of creative, and I loved how it's sort of, with like claymation and that kind of like, not like grotesque, but like a very it's a very specific style of claymation. This one felt like it kind of dug its own little corner out, and it was really creative. It was very interesting, and the whole thing is like beautiful and compelling to watch too. I love the use of the music throughout, as well as the narration.
Uses several different kinds of styles in its depictions. We have different kinds of animation mixed with real life people, which is very cool and one could potentially interpret it as being an argument about reality versus, fiction, or a made-up narrative, rather, because we see protest and uprising very much present within the images, within the tone, and the sense of urgency that the piece has. So one wonders if the mix of styles with forms of animation and claymation with real people is maybe a commentary on real narratives, right? Real news versus fake news to some extent.